Africa's greatest football tournament is here. Live your best AFCON life with expert analysis, out-of-this-world commentary from the continent's very own, and experience 52 games live in perfect picture quality. What's more, with the DSTV app, you can enjoy every moment, anytime, anywhere. You can enjoy every moment, anytime, on the go. Come alive for the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations 2021 on SuperSport, your world of champions.
Wapaya. The latest events and the latest happenings, all in one place. The Lusaka Star. Join your presenters every morning as they take you on a lovely ride of the Lusaka Star.
Now in the studio we are joined by one of the students who was actually part of the orientation team.
My comment is we are still very disappointed. We are still very disappointed. I feel that, you see, our political leadership must be very careful when they are introducing some of these rules.
Get in touch with us like our listener who came through. It's 29 34 35. The Lusaka Star brings you the best discussions, detailed analysis of the news and the affairs affecting you and your community, and the stories behind the news.
It is actually a clear indication to say it's actually a wrong thing for people to be appointed who have got this kind of mentality or don't understand issues.
As much as we go on, perhaps our listeners, you could make your contribution very brief and indeed straight to the point.
That's why I've always indicated that if I thought there are certain investigations which have to be made by our government, let them be scattered across all ministries.
Can you imagine this man at a conference in another country? This man is a danger to the government, he's a danger to the president, and a danger to himself.
Information, education, news, and entertainment on the Lusaka Star.
Join your presenters from Monday to Friday from 7:15 to 8:30 hours. Lusaka Star, giving the community a voice.
The views expressed on the Lusaka Star are not in any way the radio station stands. Radio station stands. You the radio, promoting activities.
Of January the year 2022, and welcome to the Lusaka Star Radio Magazine program, a program which discusses issues affecting our communities, and I'm your host Godwin Lungu. You, our dear listeners, are always part of the program by dialing the numbers 0211 29 34 35. That's 0211 29 34 35 for your calls, your text messages on 0965 830 293. That's 0965-830-293. Or better still, come through via our Unza Radio Facebook page. Like the page, you'll find an update status. Comment on it, and of course, we'll be able to read your comments. This morning on the Lusaka Star, we are looking at 130 days of UPND in government. My guest is a Democratic Party member, Lazarus Simukoko. Good morning, Mr. Simukoko, and welcome to the Unza Radio, Lusaka Star radio program.
Good morning, Mr. Godwin, and good morning to our listeners, and happy New Year to you.
Wow, so today we are looking at the 130 days of UPND in government. But before that, as someone was asking, you supported the Patriotic Front during the 2021 general elections, but you are back in DP. Why?
Okay, what we must be able to know is that the Constitution of Zambia itself empowers us to belong to the political party of our choice. And beside that, once again, Mr. Godwin, what we need to realize is that we are looking at one nation, and the issue of political parties in the country, of course, they are here. Where you belong to, it doesn't matter. What is important is you are looking at the affairs of the people of Zambia. And quite all right, I know the people of Zambia might say the PF was a cruel party, and the PF didn't do what was expected. What we need to understand is that the PF did its best. And, you know, when you are looking at leadership in itself, Mr. Godwin, we must be able to know to say it's a leadership of continuity. Where others end, that is where others are supposed to start from. And where others are going to make shortfalls, that is where other people are going to come in and begin revamping the shortfalls that those people managed to make. However, my belonging to the Patriotic Front and my supporting of the Patriotic Front was based on the principles, sir. And believe you me, the PF government did its part, because when it got into power in 2011, it found that the power generation in the country was only 1.6 megawatts. But at this moment now, we are standing at 2.8 megawatts due to the works that the PF had. When you look at the load shedding which the country was facing previously, of course, in the administration of the Patriotic Front, we must be able to know, Mr. Godwin, that it was due to the constructions that were taking place, because the early power generation construction took place in the 1970s. And you see that during the tenure of the MMD, there was no any proper investment in the power supply or in the energy sector. And the PF did its part. Let us look at the civil servants themselves. Immediately, Mr. Michael Sata got into power in 2011, and his budget kick-started in 2012. He increased civil servant salaries by 100%. Besides that, Mr. Godwin, the PF government found 22,000 retirees due to the privatization that took place in the early 1990s. And for now, 20,000 retirees or people who are standing on pensions were managed to be paid, and only 2,000 remained, and those are the people which the UPND are clearing off. On the other hand, Mr. Godwin, when you look at the Patriotic Front itself again, it managed to do its part, as I have said already. Of course, I've said it faced its own challenges regarding in the agriculture sector, you know, the fall of the army worms, and also when you look at the COVID-19 which started within the Patriotic Front, all those challenges which the party was facing, it still managed to do few things that it can do within its powers. So for me, by supporting the Patriotic Front, and then I said, look, leadership isn't about you shunning away from the problems. You are supposed to face problems. Provided the PF was the problem, then a leader, a genuine leader, was supposed to face the party and make few changes which are supposed to be made. Remember, Mr. Godwin, the approach you can take in terms of handling a problem on your own, and the approach which another person can take, they'll be different. Of course, you can arrive at a certain destination. Both of you can have the same goal. But we have got what we call cost effectiveness. Maybe the cost that you are going to incur as a result of your processes can be huge compared to the processes or the cost that I can incur as a result of my process. So what I'm trying to say is that leadership is about you contributing to the challenges which the country is facing and which other people within the stakeholders which we have are facing. I think that is key.
Now, going by what you have explained, what is surprising is that you were seeing all the works that the Patriotic Front was doing, as you have highlighted. But, of course, you opposed them. And you were a part of the Democratic Party, which opposed the PF in government. But after the dissolution of parliament, you shifted the camp. You went to join the party you were opposing, and immediately after they lost the elections, you decided to go back to the DP. Someone may be asking, what really was going on in your mind?
Okay, what we need to understand is that, of course, I opposed the Patriotic Front. That I'm not going to shy away. And the reason why I did so is because the PF itself had shortcomings. You know, you had the issues of fire tenders. You had the issues of the supply of medicines which were expired. And when you look at that also, you see other challenges which the Patriotic Front faced. And a normal person is supposed to criticize that. And during my tenure in PF, you need to understand to say I wasn't supporting anything. I was saying that I think here, I know we have made mistakes. We are supposed to work on it. On the other hand, also, I said, look, when I went into the Patriotic Front, what you must be able to know is that the country itself was in deficit of what I can call leadership itself. When the people of Zambia went to the polls, they spoke through the ballot by voting in the UPND. If I wanted to join the UPND, I would have joined the UPND. Today, if I wanted to join the UPND, I can join the UPND. And also, previously, there are decisions that I have made, Mr. Godwin, which are for the betterment of the country. When MMD lost power in 2011, people like Sylvia Masevo went to the UPND. People like the Vice President...
I thought she went to the Patriotic Front because she was a minister in the PF.
Yes, I'm explaining there. And also the Vice President that you have currently was in the MMD. Today, the Vice President is now the Vice President of the UPND. When you look at other ministers also, you look at the Minister of the same technology you have, Mr. Felix Mutati. He has been a minister in the MMD government, a minister in the PF government, and a minister in the UPND government. You are not going to criticize the minister because he has managed to change political parties. It's because the genuinity of the person lies in him. And any step which that person is going to take will be a reflective of what the country should be able to do. Today, people are celebrating the Minister of Health. Today, people are celebrating even the same Vice President that you have. Of course, not everyone is supporting them. But just because they had to belong to the UPND, to the UPND, and also previously they belonged to political parties such as the MMD and the Patriotic Front, does not hinder them to carry out the duties of the country. For me, as Lazarus Mkoko, I still have the genuinity in me in terms of taking the nation forward. That is why we are here. Remember, Mr. Godwin, to say, I am among the people who are currently speaking for the farmers to say, look, farmers supplied the government their means. And this is the time when they are supposed to begin planting their various crops. Today, again, on the same day they were paid, the press release was made in the evening. Early in the morning, I said, today it's 3rd of the same month you said you are going to pay the farmers. Pay them. Farmers started making noise and protesting somewhere. That's when the government took its course. Provided we went quiet as we, the leaders in the opposition, the UPND government would have thought that everything is perfect and they don't need to pay the farmers. They paid the farmers because of the relevance we are adding in politics. They have managed to be doing the little things you are seeing, Mr. Godwin, because of the relevance we have added in politics. Without our effort and our contribution to this nation, the government can just be doing its own things abruptly minus direction. And believe you me, when we stand to do something, we don't fail. Believe you me, Mr. Godwin, when I stand to say I'm going to achieve this thing, no matter the odds you can place against me, I am going to achieve that thing. For so long as I know the method and the formula to use, for me to make sure that I achieve that thing, of course I'm going to do it.
So you have talked of some of the things that you feel were mistakes made by the Patriotic Front. For example, the issue of fire tenders, the issue of expired drugs, which you've brought out. But after the dissolution of Parliament, because those things were done before the dissolution of Parliament.
Yes, yes.
The moment Parliament is dissolved, it means we go for polls, we go for campaigns.
Yes,
and it was during the campaign period that you decided to join the Patriotic Front. Or maybe, did you forget about those mistakes they made, which you have just highlighted?
No. What we need to understand is that different countries have faced different challenges. And different governments in different countries have faced challenges. What is important is to look at the mistake that you made in the past and work on it, then improve the services. Regarding my joining of a political party, Mr. Godwin, allow me to stand on the Constitution of Zambia. There is no law in the Constitution of Zambia which states and stipulates when one should be able to join a certain organization and when a person is not supposed to join any other grouping. There is no such a clause in the Constitution, Mr. Godwin. There is nothing that is enshrined in the Constitution of Zambia that you should belong to this political party. And what we need to understand...
But again, using the Constitution, you haven't answered my question. My question is, did you forget about the mistakes?
No. I didn't forget. They were still there. And for me to remember them here, it means I still remember them. Even at that moment, I remembered them.
So why did you join them despite those mistakes that you have just highlighted?
Should you abandon people because they have made mistakes? Mr. Godwin, you have...
Okay, just there, Mr. Simkoko. Immediately after the PF lost power, you dumped them and went back to the Democratic Party. So why did you dump them after they lost power?
Let me clarify that point first. When you have a friend, Mr. Godwin, your friends have wronged you in different ways. But you stood a chance and gave them the second hope to say, despite of the mistakes that you have made, tomorrow it will be me who is going to make a mistake. My joining of Democratic Party as an individual, I've thought of what kind of the things are we supposed to do. Look at the MMD. Let us begin.
Before you go there,
I'm backing on history, sir.
Yeah, I don't want the listeners to get lost at some point.
Yes, they are not going to get lost.
Why did you dump the Patriotic Front immediately they lost power?
No, not immediately they lost power. Immediately means there and then. Immediately you announce them. The person who dumped the UPN, the PF, immediately they lost power is the former Minister of Southern Province, Mr. Edify Hamkale. Is the person who dumped the PF before they even announced the results. For me, after announcements were made, I saw the messages. For me, I knew that PF has lost elections just when they started announcing the first set of results. I knew that PF has lost these elections. On the other hand, Mr. Godwin, for me, in terms of leaving the party of the PF and going to the Democratic Party, it doesn't constitute that I left them, no. How many people have left the Patriotic Front and have joined other political parties? We had Mr. Mwenya Musenge, who was in the Patriotic Front. He's currently in the NDC. We had other members within the party who are in the PF. They have gone to another political party. As I have said earlier, Mr. Godwin, it's not about where you are. It's about you following the Constitution. The other question that you are going to pose on me is about the issue of honesty. Being honest doesn't lie in you as an individual, Mr. Godwin. It lies in what you do as an individual. You are trusted, Mr. Godwin, to be handling the Lusaka Star because you can do better on Lusaka Star. You are given duties according to your strength in every organization. People leave the first job, they go to another job. That is in the labor force. Let me give that example. People can be able to work for this company. The other day they go to the other company. Reason being, it's because of an individual. There is what we call the inner voice that always prepares you to face challenges. Let it be, I'm in the PF, I'm in the UPND, or not the UPND, I'm in the PF, I'm also in the DP, and any opposition political party. The issue is I'm in opposition. Provided I wanted to be in the UPND, I would have gone in the UPND immediately they won the elections. Because I know quite a lot of people in the UPND, including some of the ministers, sir. I'm able to communicate with them. So provided I wanted to join the UPND, all I needed was the phone call to say, sir, I think I want to join you. And I would have been placed in the UPND in the background. Later on, after everything stabilizes, that's when I was supposed to come to the fore. But the issue which is at hand is that provided I made the move, sir, from the PF to the UPND, you would have said, I only love to be in power. For me, I need to bear the consequences, which is being in the opposition. You know that politics that is practiced in the opposition is different from the politics that is practiced in the ruling party. Because when you are speaking for the government, it means you are informing the public on what you have done. For us in the opposition political parties, sir, our duties are to appreciate the works of the government of the day, and also to give checks and balances where we think that they have gone astray. On the other hand, once again, sir, is that when you are looking at politics in its entirety, we don't look at politics on where the person is belonging. You look at how effective is the person. What kind of the things which the country isn't doing fine. How is this person's caliber and how is this person's intelligence going to be used in this angle for us to begin propelling the nation forward? That is key when you're looking at politics, sir. When anywhere where you belong, sir, whether a person belongs to the other radio station, let's say to the other TV station, the truth is you are all journalists. No two way about it. Those people who are in the UPND and all other guys who are in other political parties, all of us, we are politicians.
Now, let's get to the Democratic Party before we look at the 130 days of UPND. Before you joined the Patriotic Front, you were Lusaka Province youth chairperson, is it youth vice chairperson in the Democratic Party? And by then, the Democratic Party was united. Today, there are two camps. We have the Hari Kalaba camp and we have the Judith Kabemba camp. Which one have you joined between the two?
Sir, what we need to realize is that the political party I've joined is the DP which had to field in the candidate in the 2021 general elections. The president remains the president who contested in the 2021 elections. There is no any court injunction that has prevented the president from calling him a leader or the president of the party. There is no any injunction against him which is preventing him to go at the secretariat and begin attending to people. There is nothing in that kind. When you look at President Edgar Lungu, that is the former president of this country, he was not the office bearer of the Patriotic Front. When you look at President Mwanawasa, President Mwanawasa was not the office bearer of the MMD. When you look at different leaders, sir, including the same president that you are having in this country, he is not the office bearer of the party. If he is, then there are just changes that have been made, because the party was founded by the former and late President Mazoka. When you are the office bearer, it doesn't mean that you are the owner of the political party. So today, if I chose to register my own political party, and I have members, those members can choose to remove me from that office. Not because I shouldn't clean on it to say I am the owner of this party. No, there is no owner of the party. A political party is a public organization. Where you can claim ownership is in the private organization. Since a political party is a public organization, the votes and the decisions of the people within its highest organ, the Central Committee, decides on who should run the party and who should not. Now, here is a challenge, sir. When you are, as an individual, you are the office bearer as well as the member of the Central Committee, does not constitute that you have the overall power against all the members within that committee that you can be able to do anything that you want because your name is reflecting. No. When you are registered in a political party, you can be the 20 of you and then you choose who is going to be the office bearer. When you appoint those people, you can be easy in all of you, but the registrar of societies will only recognize the people who are registered there. And in the way it is done, sir, when you are supposed to change a president, I've always argued to say, look, we went to a convention. And the main reason why we went to a convention, it's because we were fulfilling the constitution of immediately the president wants to contest, the person should be elected at the convention. According to the same Judith Kabemba and other people, they are saying to say, no, we only invited a candidate. The question we must ask ourselves is, if the candidate was invited, why do you want to remove him from his office minus going for a convention? If the person was invited, okay, thank you, we appreciate. Let the person remain in the party. Go to the convention and say, okay, who is going to be the president now for the party? Then the president who was invited has also a mandate and a right to contest as a president. Provided that president wins, then we are going to say, indeed, the people of Zambia have spoken to say, or the people of this political party have spoken to say, we need this leader in the political party.
Are you saying that a leader of, or a president of a political party cannot be fired?
The president of the political party can be fired by the majority of the Central Committee. That is, it has to take 50 plus 1, just like the way it is done and handled by the nation when you are electing the presidents. So it will be easy that today, if I am against President Hari Kalaba in the party, because you know there are wrangles that can be able to take place in the party, that is normal and it is okay. Provided I have a problem with the president, I can just wake up to say you are fired. But the question should be, am I speaking the mind of every member of the Central Committee? The answer is no. As a result, my own argument, or the case that I can bring against the president, it can be considered non and valid. Not because I'm not right. I might be right, but I'm not speaking for the entire body which is mandated to make a decision. Those guys are 2 of them. Okay? They are 2, if not 3. The Central Committee itself, and that number is not even constituting a 2%. For you to remove or fire a president, it has to take more than 50% of the people who are in the Central Committee. Now, that Central Committee that you have, Mr. Godwin, it is the same Central Committee which is going to go at the convention. If they are supposed to fire a president once again, they are supposed to sit and say, okay, sir, you are no longer the president. Instead, we are going to choose the acting president at the moment. And then we go to a convention. If you wish to participate in the elections, you can come and participate. Nothing of that kind of a procedure has been taken in the party. In the Central Committee itself, nothing of that kind has been done. That is why I'm saying, sir, to say, when you are in a Central Committee as an individual or 2 of you, remember, you can have their people we call phone and SIM card. Wherever they are, there are 2 of them. Wherever they are, they look like husband and wife. Wherever they are, they portray themselves to the public as husband and wife. That is why in my leadership style, sir, I don't want to be a phone and a SIM card to someone. Because you need to understand to say, the individual you are having as your SIM card or your phone, you need to understand that if that person has you as enemies, those enemies automatically become your enemies because I don't know the conduct of that person. That is why it is always important to embrace everyone. Treat everyone equally.
The wrangles that you are having have costed you in Kawata because you failed to fill the candidate in Kawata because of the same wrangles. I'm told you presented, is it 2 candidates?
With all my heart, sir, I will say the ECZ was wrong. A party has not been taken to court. The person who has been taken to court is the president. If we took President Hari Kalaba to the same nomination, they could have said, no, your case is in court. We are not going to permit you to contest the Kabwata seat. We can agree to that. The party presented the candidate. So are they telling us to say the president's appearance in court, because the case of the president is in court, then the activities of the party are supposed to stop running? No, that is not it. What is supposed to be done, sir, is this. When you see that the president is at court, or it has been taken to court, the activities of the party can still continue running. If the party has the spokesperson...
Is it your party which presented two candidates?
No. I'm coming to that first. Let me explain this point. Provided the president of the party is in court, it doesn't mean that the political party is in court. As a result, there should be no any wrangle which should be able to be administered by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. What happened was that we in the party, as Democratic Party, we presented our own candidate. And the other people within the party, who you are calling that there are two Democratic parties, of which I'm disagreeing to say, there is only one political party. The ECZ was supposed to ask them, where is your secretariat? Those other guys.
So which camp, which camp
sir,
presented the other candidate? Is it the Judith Kabemba camp?
Yes, it did so. It did so.
And the Hari Kalaba camp also went with their own candidate.
Yes. Now, the issue which was there is, the ECZ were supposed to ask both of those parties to say, let's verify your secretariat. Immediately you see a political party which is running without a secretariat, then it has no right to be recognized by the registrar of societies. That is why when a political party has not been in participation for a long time at the registrar of societies, they will say you need to resurface the political party by putting all the things in order. The question I'm going to ask is the ECZ aware of the secretariat of the same Judith Kabemba? Is the ECZ aware of the ECZ of the same party that I'm representing here? The question is yes, the ECZ is aware. Because even the communication that it has been having, all the meetings that it has been calling the party to attend, it has been coming direct to the secretariat. Now, since the ECZ itself has been coming direct to the secretariat, we need to understand and believe to say all the official communications of the ECZ were made at that moment. Now, the question that we need to ask ourselves is, why is it that on the last day, they had to ignore all the communication that was taking place and forecasted to say, no, you have only represented one candidate? Which law did they use? Which ECZ act did they practice for this to be in effect? Because you know that in the ECZ act, it states of the secretariat of the political party, how a political party is supposed to conduct itself, how it is supposed to restrain itself from other dubious activities such as tribalism, such as other things that are not appropriate within. It didn't take that step.
But again, as we get to the other issue, we have Hari Kalaba, who was at the 2021 Democratic Party candidate, and Madam Judith Kabemba was the running mate. We have Madam Judith Kabemba presenting, Madam Judith Kabemba and her camp presenting a candidate, and we have Hari Kalaba and his camp presenting a candidate as well. Two candidates appear at the nomination center, where the ECZ supposed to be following whatever you are putting across here, asking these camps about their secretariat. Don't you think there was no time to do that? Because what we are doing there is bringing confusion.
What the ECZ requested us to do was to present the court order that we can be able to participate in the elections. Our nomination was taking place from 10 hours to 10:30. The ECZ, if it knew all this, it would have informed the party in advance to say, when bringing your candidate, because we had to advertise, sir, to say, we are participating in the Kabwata elections. It means the ECZ was aware of what was happening in the party. The ECZ then was supposed to tell the party, because the ECZ always communicates with stakeholders. It was supposed to inform the party to say, but for you to come and present your candidate to contest in the Kabwata by-elections, you are supposed to come with the court order. then that was to give the party ample time to go to court and obtain the court order so that it can present to the ECZ. Now the ECZ informed the party at the same time when we are supposed to present our candidate. Now, how are you going to adjust as an individual, sir?
Because you went with the two candidates. So that's the reason why maybe they requested for that.
Yes, that is why they requested for that court order. But they knew the issues that were there. So the ECZ was supposed to tell the party.
And they're supposed to start solving your problems.
And why were they then trying to solve our problems? If they are not supposed to, if they have no capacity.
They were communicating to the Democratic Party before the nomination day.
Yes.
And they were expecting the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party came with the two candidates.
Yes.
And both camps were claiming to be the Democratic Party.
Yes, they were claiming to be the Democratic Party. And that is why I have said, what the party is supposed to do is to look at which one is the secretariat among the two camps which are happening. And which candidate is having the approval of the secretariat. Apart from that, sir, I've mentioned to say...
Are you saying the other one didn't have
I want you to give me a bit of time, sir, before I explain everything, because you are cutting me. Immediately the candidates present the court order to the ECZ. Then that's when they said it is going to approve the candidate of that person. Now I'm saying, the party was informed within the 10 hours to 10:30 that they are supposed to do so. By the time you can be able to move from the nomination center to go to court and obtain the court order, you find that your time has already elapsed. And if you don't take the candidate there within the stipulated time, it means that you as an individual, sir, you are not going to present that candidate. Now, that is why we had to say, no, we cannot manage to get the court order within 30 minutes. And that is why, for me, I would say, provided we believe in democracy in the country, that was not supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen. But the issue is that it has happened. And we in the Democratic Party, what I'm going to tell you, sir, is that we believe in problems. That immediately problems comes, they strengthen your mind. They make you stronger than you were before. When you know that at home I don't have a meal, immediately you move around here and there, you find money. Believe you me, your mind is stronger than it was before.
Let's move on. Honorable Harikalawa, when he resigned from the Patriotic Front, he made it clear that he was not going to recontest the Bahati city because he doesn't believe in by-elections. And during the whole period the party was in existence before the 2021 general elections, DP didn't participate in any by-election. What happened for you to develop interest to participate in the Kawata by-election?
First of all, we need to understand that in the past times before the general elections of 2021, we were not participating in by-elections because we are saying, look, by-elections are a cost of time and resources. When people choose to say, in this constituency, we want the UPND for the next 5 years, it means they have decided. What they are supposed to do is, immediately the party elects and nominates an individual. Then that person takes over the administration of the other individual. On the other hand, once again, you need to know that the by-elections were just too rampant previously. When those by-elections were held, the country was facing quite a lot of challenges with resources. We were going ahead as a nation to begin printing ballot papers, yet there are students who have not been given bursaries. We were going ahead to print ballot papers, yet we were having no medicine in hospitals. And that is why we are saying, look, to save on costs, let us scrap off the by-elections. Because by-elections are a cost and share of time. On the other hand, sir, what has made us to begin participating in the by-elections is that we came out third in the elections that took place. When we came out third, we want to give the UPND the proper checks and balances that it requires. Because at this moment, we are the biggest opposition political party based on what has happened. Because the UNIP government, when it lost power, it has never ever gotten back to power. When MMD lost power, it has never gotten back to power. And when PF just lost, I don't know the criteria that they are going to use that it is going to go back to power.
Are you saying PF is not coming back?
It is not me to decide, sir. It is not me to decide. The people are going to decide. I'm not going to speak for the PF here. What I'm going to speak of is the Democratic Party. Let them do their job. If they think they can get into power, we are going to do our job and we are going to get into power.
Let's get to the main topic. The 130 days of UPND in government. How would you describe it?
It has been 130 days of flip-flopping, just as always, you know that. It has been a 130 days of promises once again. They made more promises when they were in opposition, and they have continued to make the same promises. So what is supposed to be done is this. When you see the government which is flip-flopping, it affects a lot of things. When you see a government which is not paying attention to the sufferings of the people of Zambia, it becomes a problem and a challenge. When you see a government which is not interested in how to manage strategic assets such as Indeni and Zesco, you need to be questioning yourself. When you see the government which is not paying attention to the cries of the people of Zambia, when you see the government which promised people free education from grade 1 to university, not doing so, you need to question yourself. When you see the government which promised youth employment and did not deliver in that employment, we need to question ourselves, because you are going to tell me to say it's only 130 days. But the issue is, it needs to have a direction on how it is supposed to do it. Because this government should be able to be aware to say all the challenges that Zambians were facing previously. The people of Zambia thought that the UPND will come up with every solution that it requires. Unfortunately, that has not happened. So for me, I'll look at the UPND with their flip-flopping promises, because it has also affected the investor confidence because of their flip-flopping plans and also promises. That is not how a country is supposed to be run. When you say yes in the morning, don't say no in the evening. When you say I'm going to eat shima during lunch, don't say no, I'm going to eat rice at this moment because it's now lunch. Stick to your principle. That is key. Stick to what you promised the people of Zambia. When you promised the people of Zambia that you are going to give more subsidies, because even countries like USA have subsidies, you need to deliver that. When you promise people to say, I'm going to sell the jet, immediately I'm sworn in, because I'm going to be required to begin paying for students and cancel the ex-student loans, you are supposed to do so. When you promise people to say, immediately you are sworn in as a government, we are going to ensure that the price of meal reduces to 50 kwacha. That is per 25 kg. When you promise the people to say, immediately we form government, we are not going to be thinking of traveling as a nation or as a president of the nation. That has not happened. In Nigeria, they have been empowering youth with skills. Apart from that, they give them startup capitals. They give them cameras that are required because of the neighborhood that is there. In Zambia, the president isn't thinking of that. All you want is to go to Glasgow, Scotland. All you want is to go to Malawi. All you want is to go to South Africa, USA, to meet the IMF, which is wrong. The IMF was formed in 1945 and it has never, ever revamped any nation from a developing nation to a developed nation. In this country, Mr. Godwin, during the time of Chiluba, you had what you were calling the Harvard boys who were sent by the IMF to Zambia to come and look at the advantages which Zambia has in terms of investment. What we saw was more privatization. When the IMF gives you a loan, all it's doing is to secure businesses for their corporates, for their people. That is why we saw in the early 1990s, more than 225 companies were privatized. When that privatization took place, that is when we saw a lot of retrenched workers. That is where we saw a lot of street kids and street adults in the streets. That is now the time we saw a lot of people being required to be paid their pensions and pension funds. What went wrong? I mentioned earlier to say, Zambia recorded the highest number of street kids when companies were privatized in the early 1990s. Zambia recorded the highest worker retrenching when the companies were privatized. We are talking of Indeni, which was formed in 1973 by Kaunda. We are talking about Zesco, which was formed in 1970 by Kaunda. Those are strategic assets that survived during the process of privatization. Tell me where we would have been today, Mr. Godwin, without Zesco. Tell me where we would have been today without Indeni. In 1906, Zambia began power generation in Livingstone using the Victoria Falls Lower Gorge, and only 10 megawatts was supplied. In 1935, the people of Zambia who wanted power supply in their homes were not paying through Zesco because Zesco was not in existence. The people of Livingstone and locals in Livingstone, they were paying to Livingstone Electricity Board. The people of Copper Belt and the people of Kabwe, which is Central Province, were paying to the mining companies because electricity or power generation was only made for miners or the mining companies. That is where they were paying for electricity tariffs. In 1970, Kaunda saw it fit to say we need to make sure that we incorporate all these power generations so that we come up with Zesco. That is why Zesco is a corporation. When that happened now, Zesco has 4 steps it focuses on. It focuses on generation, transmission, distribution, and then retail. Before you buy power or electricity units at retail, it has already gone through these 3 processes. And that is why when you want to, and then I also want to thank you, in 2014, there was a formation of the IDC, Industrial Development Corporation. That Industrial Development Corporation was mainly put there in order to begin revamping and thriving the companies that are making losses by listing them, and after listing them, any individual, even you, Mr. Godwin, can be able to buy shares from there. And then companies or parastatals such as Zesco, Indeni, Zambia Railway can be able to begin operating effectively. Many people in Zambia, before the formation of the IDC in 2014, we are facing challenges to switch from hydroelectricity power to solar energy. Now, since the formation, all what IDC did was to list about the people who want to invest in solar energy. And today, solar energy has increased by 80%. 80%, sir. Because of the same IDC. Provided IDC was formed in 1990, before all these companies were privatized, Zambia today would have been the leading economy in Africa. Zambia today would have been having the GDP, the highest GDP in Africa, including surpassing other countries in the Western countries. But today what we are seeing is the flip-flopping. Apart from that, let us look at Indeni, sir. When Indeni was formed in 1973, Kaunda saw it fit to say we need a strategic parastatal such as Indeni so that private individuals don't sabotage the economy. Because it is easy, sir, that you can be able to sabotage the economy just by you conniving or forming cartels to say let us withhold our fuel or our petrol so that our people cannot, the people of Zambia cannot have petrol and fuel. So is the case of Zesco. Immediately you privatize Zesco. What that simply means is that we don't have another alternative as the people of Zambia which we can switch to in terms of power generation. Because Zesco is a monopoly. Indeni is a monopoly. Meaning it's the only company or parastate which is existing in terms of supplying power to the people of Zambia. Now imagine Zesco is to be privatized. Now, according to the...
You are saying as if there is a suggestion that Zesco should be privatized. Of course, what we've heard is the restructuring of the same Zesco and the same Indeni. Is restructuring and privatization the same?
Restructuring, what they are telling you, sir, I've mentioned to you how power generation is made. For you to buy that electricity unit at retail stage, there is generation, transmission, distribution, and retail. What they want to do is for these things to be working independently, but they are all vertically matrical oriented or aligned. That simply means, if this government wants to make sure that they begin making or changing policies, they need to be calling for endeavors. They call different stakeholders such as political parties, non-governmental organizations to reach at a certain decision. Provided the PF had called for the endeavor on ZESCO, today the UPND cannot be thinking of restructuring. That is creating political instability. When UPND loses power and DP comes into power, we put that as an ideological thing. If people or if we in the Democratic Party, we are not happy with the way they have restructured ZESCO, again we are going to take another stance by saying, let us restructure ZESCO. Meaning there will be fluctuation in the way we'll be handling things. So is the case with Indeni. When you are saying restructuring, what are you trying to say? It means restructuring can also mean, instead of it being owned by government or the public, it can be owned by the private sector. That is also part of restructuring, meaning it is privatization. When Indeni was formed in 1973, let me drive back to the point so that we can be able to look at other issues now. When Indeni was formed in 1973, you know that the crude oil or the feedstock comes through Dar es Salaam, that is in Tanzania. It passes through the Tazama pipelines, which is a 1,704 kilometers. Then it passes through the 4 plants, which is the topping, hydrotreater, and then we have got the vacuum, then the asphalt. What Indeni wants for it to begin operating effectively, it's only $500 million. Should you restructure Indeni because of that amount? The UPND government has managed to give tax exemption on foreigners. That is when we talk about the mineral loyalty tax of 3.5 million. Revenue of that mineral loyalty tax will be lost annually. When that is lost, the same thing can be made. You get that money, and the UPND is further going to borrow 1.4 million. Why can't they just use a $500 million to make sure that the people who are working at Indeni don't get retrenched? Because according to the government, they have said if workers feel like they can go on voluntary separation with the institution, it means you are telling the people, sir, to say, if you want, you can go, we don't need you. That simply means you are creating more unemployment than employment.
Now, according to the info, Indeni has not been operating on full capacity since December last year. Is it last year, 2020? Yeah, since December 2020. It has not been receiving that crude oil, and somewhere in August, is it August or June, it was reopened, then later closed again. So why keep something which has not been operational?
The Zambian people saw that the PF government was not operational, and they brought in the UPND. The UPND, when it came into power, it had to make certain promises, such as the opening of Mulungushi Textiles and other companies, not closing or restructuring. The reason why Indeni has not been operating effectively, it's because of the amount I've mentioned, which is $500 million. Meaning this government is supposed to look for that $500 million for Indeni to be in full capacity of operation. That is why it has not been receiving crude oil, because the hydrotreater has a challenge. Meaning, those are the plants which crude oil or feedstock passes through for it to be in separate components such as petrol, fuel, and diesel, it can't reach its full separation parts if hydrotreater is not in operation. That is why that component has been cut off. It's like when you are looking at the network topologies, sir. When you have got the star topology, which its hub, it's at the middle. That hub fails to function. All the subcomputers fails to work. It is the same case with the generation or the making of the same petrol and fuel that we have. Provided the hydrotreater is not working, it means the things like the vacuum, it means the things like asphalt, it will not be able to work properly because there is a blockage at the hydrotreater. Since there is that blockage, what is supposed to be done is to fix that hydrotreater so that there is a fluent and a thorough flow of the same crude oil or feedstock to the end products. So apart from that, they are saying the many reasons why they want to restructure Indeni, it's because of the cartels that have been formed in terms of the supply of the same fuel. Other people are supplying fuel while Indeni is processing. That is where the government is supposed to come up with strategic measures on how to cut those cartels so that Indeni can thrive.
So using restructuring process, it can't work.
The question we must ask ourselves is, what is the restructuring? Making changes, right? Among the changes, we might be wrong to mention to say you can make a change from it being owned by public to private. No.
So you are making assumptions there.
Not assumptions. Okay. According to the government, they have said the reason why they want to restructure it is because of the $500 million US. It means the government has failed to raise that money. Who is going to raise that money?
But do you agree that Indeni has not been operational since December 2020?
Yes. Since December 2020.
December 2020.
Yes, in fact, it is 2019. Not 2020.
2019 as you put it. Meaning for 2 years it was not operational.
It was facing challenges such as the ones that
and it kept on milking the government money.
No. The money that is required, sir, is $500 million US. It's not milking the people's money. It is about you safeguarding the strategic asset or company that you have.
But it's true that people have been getting paid there.
Yes.
They have not been making profit.
Now, what has caused to the not...
so if they were not making profit, where was the money they were being paid coming from?
No. I want to come to you, sir. When you look at the same Indeni we are talking about, the main reason why it has been facing the challenges is about the same money. You are going to claim to say the government was paying those workers minus the resources coming from the same Indeni. Then the government wasn't cost effective. Because all it needed is to solve the problem once and for all. Immediately you pay or you give or you supply Indeni with that amount which it requires. Then it will be in full operation. Even you
so which part are you blaming here? Is it the UPND government or the PF government?
I'm blaming the people who want to restructure it. Who want to restructure Indeni.
So those who are paying the workers, you are not blaming them?
Who are paying the workers? I can't blame them because
from the money the company was not
workers are supposed to be paid. Workers were supposed to be paid. When you are working, you are supposed to be paid. That is why you are working. You are selling your labor. And when you are selling your labor, what you are supposed to get as a result of labor is a pay. So those workers who are not working, I can't blame the workers.
So instead of restructuring, it was supposed to be left the way it is and people continue getting paid.
What was supposed to be done is that the government knows the challenge which is Indeni is facing. What the government is supposed to do then is to make sure that it supplies Indeni with the same amount which it requires.
Where is it going to come from?
Fully operational. You can borrow the money because you are borrowing to invest. On the other hand, once again,
you can borrow the government. The government has gone to IMF and you are saying it's a wrong direction.
Yes, it's a wrong direction. Because
but you want them to borrow.
Government has not disclosed the agreements that it has made with the government. Let IMF disclose, then you are going to say it's a good move.
Don't you think you are contradicting yourself?
No, I'm not. Because in the 1990s, Zambia was relying on the IMF and the World Bank. You know that. Zambia was relying on IMF mainly. And we know that the IMF itself failed to revamp the economy of this country in the time of Chiluba. When the government, or when Chiluba wanted to run for the third term, people protested and he was stopped from contesting. Why did they do so? It's because the challenges which the people of Zambia were facing then were as a result of the same what? IMF and its own policies. Now, what we are asking for from the government is for the government to disclose the kind of agreements they have made with the same IMF. Let them disclose everything, because you can be able to see the government which is fluctuating. You can't be able to scrap off the mineral royalty tax by you making a loss of 3.5 million kwacha. Yet you have gone ahead as a company or as an organization to begin increasing the fuel prices by you removing subsidies. You are going ahead now as the government. For you in the government at that particular moment, what you are supposed to do is to make sure to say, how are we going to center development to the people of Zambia? The people of Zambia are supposed to be undertaking in everything. Where I'm seated here, sir, I'm telling you to say what the government is supposed to do. Let them not restructure, because at the end of the day, they're going to cry for to say, in the process of restructuring, we saw it fit to privatize. In the process of that, and you know that when you...
By the way, this is an interactive program. Our dear listeners, you can as well be part of the program by dialing the number 0211-293435. That's 0211-293435. The number for live call. You can text us on 0965-830-293. Or better still, come through our Unza Radio Facebook page. Mr. Simkoko, allow me to accommodate this caller. Hello, good morning. Tasebeza chabebwino mungapitirize na comment yanu mulenga chirungamo.
Kayamikira bosi mabosi mwaseza bwanji su.
Bwino ba mlenga muri bwanja.
Ndi mkuru wanga bwino tinzalira chabe but kabera fula kufunza bosi apa mtabuleme isizedi chwa tena kulema party yanu amena tuliga bantu babiri. Wali simuna sanki mtu opeleka kwa adoption tumsanki mtu mozi. Which means the party ameza izatipeleka kuli amazing atipeleka kuli constitution. Kati mwewe mwamba utenda wabaju UPN UTI mapomisa anapaka imwe mupo mina endeni asiwa ndalama munga wakupira mfusa kuina bonga japo mpasi wabwaji ndama watu amene siwa sewe which means party yanu bosi kuliko kwa mene yendani kutepenga tandile chwaja mene mkamba hapa mweyamba kushena makambai siveve kama mene mkamba na mbele uta abalinde bakamba baso which means muna problem na izwaya wa adoption ina mkandari muna free wantu wabita ya kwa mbele
Mwinga Zigomo 0211-293435 is the number that you are calling us on. You can as well do the same. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Yes, Mr. Lawrence, you can go ahead with your comment.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Mr. Lawrence.
Very well. You are doing a great job. Okay, keep it up. And now coming to the issue of Inden. Inden only needs about $500 million capital injection. If the government was serious about job creation, as they promised on the opposition, they are going to release that money to capitalize Inden. But because they don't have plan for Inden, okay, so the best they can do is restructure it and sell it. That's what they want to do. Okay, I look at Mopani, for instance. Mopani only needs about $200 million capital injection. If the government was serious about growing this economy, they are going to inject that $200 million in India and maintain jobs and even create more jobs at a time when the copper prices are at the highest on the London Stock Exchange. When the world is making electric cars, why don't you invest in your in Mopana and KCM? Okay, so it shows that these guys have no vision whatsoever to create jobs. All they know is selling and privatization. And now, I come to the issue of your party. Okay, there's no injunction to restrain Mr. Karat from acting as the president or from you operating as a party. Therefore, ECZ must have accepted your candidate in Kawata and wait for the court to judge. Okay, now they acted arbitrarily, breaking for any law. Okay, so for me, this is as a ground partisan. They are following.
Mr. Lawrence, should I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
You've heard Mr. Simkoko has accepted that there were two candidates from the DP who were presented to the ECZ at the nomination day. What was the ECZ supposed to do at that particular time?
said has meeting the Democratic Party under Hari Kalaba. I've been attending meetings. What is they called this Akabeba, the group that we're meeting for instance? All along they have been operating. You see, they took this one to court. The EC said has been operating with Hari Kalaba. But on that day when that other group showed up, what did they accept as a candidate from Hari Kalaba side and not from the Juice Kalaba side? Because the Juice Kalaba are waiting for the court process. So for me, as an invisible hand somewhere that want to see this party finish. So, but as Zambians, we know, okay, so, we are in opposition. We will continue to provide this apparatus, and no one will silence our voices. This government has failed. They promised Italis that saying, no, you release money for Italis. All of a sudden, Italis are shut up at cabinet office. So now the question you ask is, which Italis were paid? How much was paid for, and from which company of government or this Italis paid? So they have failed. No one allows it to criticism. They want to silence opposition, but we want to continue remind them of their lives. Okay, this is what happened.
Your time is up, Mr. Lawrence. Thank you very much. All right, 0211293435 is the number. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes, Mr. Chikubabe, though you are faint, you can go ahead with your comment.
Mr. Simkoko, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Chikubabe. How are you? Long time.
Hey, I'm sure, Mr. Simkoko, if in this country we can have people like you who can speak for the Zambia, this country can develop. So I'm urging you, Mr. Simkoko, you should continue speaking for the Zambia. Nobody should be starting interfering with you. Can you continue speaking? Because if you can look at UKD, UKD is a danger for this country. We have been advising people in this country before they came into power. And these people, they are just believing in privatization. Now, if you can hear what is coming out from them about the ZESCO, about the Indane, those are the signs. These are the same clique of people who were there in 1991. What did you expect from them? It's the same thing. They've got no idea for this country. They don't understand the governance system. That's why I've seen that they are interfering in every sector. These are the same people who came with full of money. And they will start creating groups. Now they're taking about 10,000 teachers. Those are direct jobs. Doctors are direct jobs. We need jobs which are not direct. These are things which are needed in this country. That's why your party is being frustrated. Who doesn't know that Hari Kalaba is the president of GP? Where is the other party coming from? Electoral Commission of Zambia, they know that the president of GP is Hari Kalaba. Where they are taking those information of somebody who can come with his candidate, then they are saying that Mr. Hari Kalaba should come out. Zambian people should be very serious with this. These guys...
As you conclude, Mr. Chikubabe.
One person said, we need people like you who can speak for this country.
Thank you very much. Your time is up, Mr. Chikubabe. 0211293435. Please keep your comment brief so that we allow as many calls as possible. Hello, good morning.
Marungu, mwakatiani hapa.
Taukaruwe meamose mwakatiani.
Taukaruwe ni mwakabwanja simko.
Mwakatiani amose.
Wino wino palindeni. You know, watu wameneza kayupa. Ni maza utu wabwela. Peza jijachinisha uchidauni. Nochiusha jijachinisha mboselenza. My problem ati nayo. A politicians ya. Malinati mind ya Vatende wanazunga kawaula kichitani so wachita so inenifuna wantu munga limwe so wakuti haifika bwela kizachi utachindeni uzinyi maganisyasi munga azilamja kiko mwezo kasi jamini na kaleli pe national asset kia ingeni ya kitachaki kitofu so inenifuna banana nuuza mtawe namba nakabashi hawa sana mfuna kwele sapo na watu wa mind ni moja hata kuna kusikia kwa so depends ya simple kaleko na ingine na jana ndio wasisi mtaanza TPF za la kuira TPF kazo na problem ya nani ya ngone ama kaja I can assure you. They are very strong on the ground. Look at the number of members of parliament they have. How many do you have? So you cannot tell me today you are the largest opposition. Then moving Chani Abuanja, calculator. So at the moment, the largest opposition is go in parliament area to plus you. How Kawata with your carriage is already known. Even Narinjo without knowing a Clement Tembo. Just waiting. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. 0211 29 34 35. We've lost that caller. So you can do the same. The number once more, it's 0211 29 34 35. That's the number for your call. You can text us on 0965 830293. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Bodwin.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you are calling us from?
I am calling from Tendere.
Your name again?
My name is Mr. Kofi. I'm calling Kofi Anai, in short.
Go ahead with your comment.
You see, like, this is the very right Chitavanza, right? Very good.
Kambani first time Tiribe. Wow. 0211293435 is the number that you are calling us on, and of course you be part of the program just like that. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Godwin. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Though you are faint, but you can go ahead with your comment. Give us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, Mr. Munkongwe. Thank you very much for coming through. We can accommodate at least 2 or 3 more. Then I allow my guest to respond. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Your name and where you are calling us from?
Godwin.
Yes. How are you? Fine, and how are you? Your name again?
This is Kingford, the voice of my choice.
Kingford, you can go ahead with your comments, sir.
I'm a politician, never know it. Each venga vari siribukaino intata tulevongwa sana. Because what it is, epenambo kumona. Abama politician manje kula. Poshishi wepe na janda ti politician chichi venga la kutei. Ubu fyewa kula. Ubu vepa abantu kwa kula. You know, it's often amona like this government. Bala badaka like PF balancing. Ba PF bachinske bakada basiba kuchindika abantu population yaba votera tibengi. Bayachindika bakote okulaba pera ma social transfer bala bati ba youth mu town tabakote fyakuta. Nise muna government yabutini mwambo kuchindikisha bale bomba. You fail to balance. Don't leave anyone behind. Mwambo kula mfisha kuno bale bomba. Ababa mukongo ndabule bomfisha kuno. So which is it? Na babe na yara bashu nimbona. So amapolitician now teba no beteba kwangana bena tabara pilibuka uKristu tamwaba. Thank you.
Thank you very much. UKristu tamwaba. Members, Mr. Simkoko. 0211293435 is the number that you are calling us on. Come through and of course add your voice as well to what we are looking at this morning. We are looking at the 130 days of UPND in government. That man is not a politician, as we are very much okay with the president, with the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. Mono Chodwe from Chainda. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you? Your name and where you are calling us from?
Mr. Mumba.
Yes, Mr. Mumba. You can go ahead with your comment.
How are you, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Mumba.
Yes, sir. You know my politicians we want to be small, we can move company, mama. Twaliba abantu nomba naluchenjera. Mulelande kintu kwati abantu bawumfa like ifo tukala mu company. The situation here in the company. Naliba pa market nyapa. People are complaining. Abantu balefe ngokusto hunga. Repu kuno kumutendele ni bisiri kwacha. Repu kuno ni kumutendele bisiri kwacha. So, try to visit the radio station. Abantu abale umfabengi. So, ngatresa pale kulande sintu.
Bossi tuipushe ko ipusho. Ati repu ni 3 kwacha. How many leaves?
1.
Ka 1 leaf. Ate kwaba ka 1 leaf. Balonga tunga tuma repu tuli abashikisha 3 kwacha.
Makaramba mukala kuisa imu.
Even here at Unza, it is 5 kwacha, but it is not 1 leaf.
Yeah, 1 leaf, mona kutura balonga. Why you are not so?
Tulia balonga, tulia nitunga.
Tulia balonga, kuno ni kwacha kamunomba.
Nomba balonga twinga, tubamo twinga muli amuka bachi kamo. That's what I wanted to hear. You can continue.
That's what I Kufunyapo patrioti franti friabo mbele wamona. Then mwaita adika kwa mabandwai. Wala ndiachi waka leto munga pa 200. Pa 50 kwacha. Waka leta asalaji pa fitani padani. So nisha pabantu fobaleta shamu hapo. Nisho muntu muzambe ete ngatasha. Nisho echarata shapu hapa. Saladi wala ndiachi waka boicha pashinga. Vale inua president, vale imenoku, vale sende pamedia pali kampeni. Wewa ntimwe, na sala jenu boya stefini tusiye patriotic front. So nomba, ama zanjansi. Uvungale lo mwesa pali shinga. Sala di mwesa pali shinga. Nile bondela ndewa kofi.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Your time is up. Okay, let me accommodate just one more caller, then I allow my guest to respond. Remember the number, it's 0211-29-34-35. That's the number that you are calling us on. Okay, we have lost that caller. Let me allow Mr. Simkoko to respond to some of the views that we have received from the callers, Mr. Simkoko.
Okay, I'll start with the last caller. Avena mtendele, he was using Bemba, use Bemba. Avena mtendele now.
Avena namwanga. You are namwanga, so I don't know if you are Bemba or you are namwanga.
No, I can stick even in namwanga. There is no problem. But
no, namwangas and the Bembas are the same, so you can continue.
Okay, ngatoresha avena mtendele, avena munadi constituency yonse. Bale echula abantu, abo balelanda pa wafuma mkula na wena lokwebati. Pama market sepo basango, abantu baledanda lokwebati. Ubunga abantu balefirwa nokushita. Papa president ishbale campaign bali budire kasala dikaraka chinga katu kwachenga kawa mkwacha bakemya inenga na isa kuno akata mwakulashita mwa mutengo mleshita mwa potuta kwa kabebonze mkalashita ama 5 liters ama 10 liters ya cooking oil Bapambi banyaka Pamela, ututuma Pamela te mwakulashitanga na wina, mukambo kulashita ma 25 kg because unga ukapa 50 kwacha. Ofo balela yabena mutendere. Babushiku bwalelo mulamu mutendere mulya. Ngani mutendere mwena, mweta mwaikala mu ba Godwin, kali mu wa mayati. Mutendere mulaba menshi mulesula. Abantu bakuya kumanchito balema, bafwala efya kufwala fyala mbero fimbi babika muchola. Ero nga bafika kunganda bano bachinja. The drainage system in mutendere is pathetic. Nga mwalole chafuta again imikalire yabantu ba mutendere bale chula fuma market. Ma market na bandati karepu kali abaleshita 3 kwacha. Ote twaleshita mwemwe mtimla twaleshita na mama 15 ngwe ma 1 kwacha. Bali nombale mwachano ngana tiyo ma 5 kwacha na ma 10 kwacha. No twalafika kuisange chalo. Muno Muzambia muno mu Eastern Province. Muno mwine mu Lusaka muno. The soil is fertile, but you have failed to take advantage of such kind of the chance that we have as a nation to develop. Apart from that also, bamunkonge na balanda ifshinga nabo balandirati. Don't put in deni on restructuring because palati tukeza mfwazi ati yo bashita privatize. Efa tulelanda pano fya kweba ati Mr. Godwin. The person has also said, why is it that they are giving the ministers 11,000 for their upkeeps in terms of because their ministerial houses are dilapidated? Ifimeko, baba ne ifimeko. The same ministers in the PF, baleka la maya ndayo yene. Ama ba president ba previous baleka la mu state house mumo mwine. Ati no, tafiri wino, we need to make sure that our houses are maintained, our houses are polished up so that we can go in. Fimeko if you are Godwin. How many people ababe na bale bapela ma votes aba? Amayanda bekala mubambi na mitengeta bakwata tapa bane mitenge. Bambi babika fefima plastic pa mundu because amayanda lelo kwa this is rain. Ama Zambians, they are still suffering. The people of Zambia voted for the UPND. Not for them kwambo kulanda tiyo, tetutura munga ndabu minister. Pandinga ndabu minister na ilamba. So tatuwaemu. So badelanda ti, amayanda ekala mwabale wa votera tayala employment. What is the issue? The government wants to restructure in Deni because of the $500 million US. Apart from that, let me go to other callers. Owapapadishe bamu, abasumine na ba UPND na wabali pa message. Kuishu afya since they know that they are going to support the party at all cost. No matter them seeing the challenges which is going on, they are not going to say the truth. Those are the people who are going to destroy the president. Let them begin telling him the truth. Tell the president the truth. Tell him to say, sir, here we have missed it. Instead, ababambia ba Amos, bachiranda mchinyanja. Wewe walabira kuti ababantu aba bali muno Mzambia ba presidents bamverera bintu efika bamucharo chinango ma whites. Why is it that bamverera ba mu countries mwinango ero nishibeba na bavotera ni bantu ba Mzambia bacha baba pasa abantu benango tax exemption ba foreigners ba pasa ma Zambia's tax exemption. They have increased road tax, yet they are claiming to say they have only removed subsidy on fuel. Why is it so? The reason is that if they have removed subsidy there, we thank God they have done so. But why do they want to go ahead? Why have they gone ahead to increase the road tax? That is not fair for the people of Zambia. And other people are saying, but we politicians, do we even go to church? The truth is simple. The character of someone doesn't constitute the character of everyone. Ask the question by saying to say, Bushaba UPND mula pepa, Bushaba UPND mwadikwatiro rusa abantu. The UPND president was ahead posting the pictures of Paul Kagame, the late John Pombe Magufuli, to say, Balea for abantu during this time of COVID. And he said, we are going to do the same. Instead, they are giving the ministers 11,000 for upkeeps. That is not the way a country is supposed to be. Apart from that, Indeni was supposed to be revamped. Let them revamp Indeni. Apart from that, he went ahead by saying they have no vision, the UPND government. It's true, I agree. All they have been doing are lies in the morning, lies in the mid-morning, lies in the afternoon, lies in the mid-afternoon, lies during the night, lies during the midnight. Tabalala. Because the UPND government should do this. What are we supposed to do? Now to say, we are in a democratic nation, Mr. Godwin. As I conclude, Mr. Godwin. President Hari Kalaba came out third in the elections that we had. And you know that the UPND have seen the record to say no political party which has been removed from power has ever gone back to power. The only thing they want to do is to frustrate their close rivalries so that the country remains minus any other opposition political party which is relevant. But we are up to the task. We are going to face them head on if that is the issue. We are going to make sure that we fight for what people like Chiruba, during the time in the 1991, they brought up multi-partyism. We are a multi-party nation. We are going to make sure that every political party should be able to participate. Every political party should not be restricted from participation. And that is what we stand for. We are going to make sure that we do that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simukoko. We appreciate your coming. And to you, our dear listeners, we request you not to tune to the other radio station because we'll be joined in the studio by PF Chilubi Member of Parliament, Honorable Mulenga Fube, who is already with us here. And of course, it is coming for a special program which will run for an hour till 10. Godwin Nunga, my name's get to join me tomorrow morning as I bounce back with Beyond the Headlines. Up next is a special program that is featuring PF Chilubi Member of Parliament, Honorable Mulenga Fube.